As soon as I graduated high school, I joined the Navy and thought this is gonna be my life. I did 8 years active duty and then switched over to the civilian side supporting Department of Defense. So every morning about 4:30, I'd go to the bus stop and get on this bus, and it was really quiet that time in the morning, and there were a lot of military members on it, a lot of civilians, and there were 2 animals on there, a Great Dane who had his own seat and a little toy poodle that sat next to me with an airman. So, there were times when the Marine had some pretty traumatic things he was dealing with and couldn't figure out why he had such a big service dog. It was to hold him down because he had a lot of things that would come up. The poodle, however, was helping the airman because her anxiety and depression was so severe that it would just climb into her lap, reminding her to breathe. So he'd sit on that bus in the morning, calm and quiet, but the dogs were alert the whole time. So it always made me feel good to know that we didn't just toss them aside because they came back with this trauma. We provided them something else so they could still go and support the warfighter. So we all have something that's wrong, and it made me so proud to see that we didn't just toss them aside because a lot of times you hear they're tossed aside. We took care of these 2, and they were there every day, and they went on to retire from the military and, work for civilian service for a while. So it just there's nothing no greater thing that I've ever done in my life, other than my kids, was to join the military.
As I began to serve and began to see, for the first time what it looked like in other countries with other people and folks who did not have the freedoms and the enjoyment, the joy of living free and having a society that you could go to the store and look for something and it would be on the shelf. I didn't realize that there were other places in the world where that was not so.
When I was asked to do this video, one of the things that popped in my head, that stood out to me, as I reflected on what I was going to say or what today meant, I was reminded of the wall that my mom has in her house that has, all the family that has served in the military, and I remember that wall, and it's got my stepdad, Bob Baxter, on it. It's got uncles and nephews and nieces and myself, and, coming up on this day, it kinda makes today personal. Those that were willing to serve and put it all on the line if need be, and, makes me realize that, I'm a second generation Marine. I served in the Marine Corps from '94 to 2001, and, just makes you realize how important today is. It makes it personal when you think about those that were willing to serve alongside you, before you, and hopefully those after you. Makes it personal. It's just not where I live. It's who came before me.
Serving my country for me was something that I felt was very important. Um, During my high school actual graduation, Colin Powell spoke, and I remember just him talking about the love he had for America and how it felt for him to actually enlist and what that entailed. And I was mesmerized by his speech. And when I shook his hand, he asked me, "What's your plans?" And I looked him in the eye. I said, "I'm going to do exactly what you did. I'm going to enlist and I'm going to go and serve my country." I'm very proud to be an American, for one, because of the freedoms and the liberties that we are afforded because of people like myself and others who have served and those who have died to give us those freedoms and liberties. There's no place like America. No matter what we go through, it may seem divided, but ultimately, all together, we have the same common goal, and that's freedom for every single person.
We've enjoyed the freedoms that we have. Sometimes we take them for granted because they're free, not realizing that somebody paid for them. Kind of like the freedom we have in Christ. Sometimes we take that for granted, but the fact is that somebody paid for it.